Oh, it's been a while. Okay, OBS needs to move. Cool. It showed up on my other page. Alright. Hi everyone. I'm back. This might be just a shorter stream, depending on how I'm feeling. It is almost 10 p.m. here, so I might just do a little bit, and I forgot to mute my phone. Great. Thank you for telling me I am live. Wrong, no. I always pull down my notifications when I'm trying to hit do not disturb. Alright, cool. Now that is on. Please load. Don't crash on me again. Ignore that I was doing shit. Boop. Oops. Okay, this is the start. Cool. Oh man, it's been a while. The start of classes ended the relaxed, free days of summer. It didn't take long for you to get back into the swing of the school year routine. Schedules and homeworks became the new normal. Derek wasn't around nearly as much. With school and after-school activities, there weren't many opportunities for him to take a trip out to your neighborhood. Aw, Derek. Sometimes you hear that he was at a training camp or something like that, and you weren't always sure what he was up to. But you kept in touch over the phone the best you could. You lost contact over time as time went on. No. Keep in touch. The Jeremy kid did disappear that summer. No one ever heard from him again. Where he went or what he might have been up to was a mystery. You saw more of Miranda. Commands. Oh, you. Hi, TG. Lola was totally like we weren't talking a few minutes prior. You saw more of Miranda around. Since you had hung out at her birthday party, she had opened up to you. The two of you talked regularly, and she was the same towards Cove. What? Okay. After a while, all three of you developed a real friendship together. More summers came and went like the waves on the shore, coming in and out. In your second year of high school, someone new started at Sunset Bird to visit Sunset Bird, a sunny girl named Terry Brooke. She was a friend of Co's made due to them both being the ocean obsessed. Due to them being ocean obsessed. Oh gosh. Terry was more than glad to befriend you too. Someone close to Cove had to be good company, she felt. You were pleased to get along with her as well. Funny enough, Terry was extremely tight with Miranda, who she had known for even longer than Cove. The four of you were able to create a small friend group. As your home life, the Laytons also had developments. Oh, it was Moltka. Of course, it's Moltka who is my walking Changing laws and public perception countrywide made it possible for your moms to openly wear their wedding rings without questions. Though they had a wedding years ago, it was only recently that the union was officially recognized somewhere in the US. That was a good day, to say at least. Elizabeth came into her own, stopped being quite as irritable. You just... She no longer worried about perceived childness as she grew up for real. She didn't even mind being called Lizzie again, although most people use Liz. She eventually graduated high school and moved out to attend college in another state. It was a lot for you to adjust to your older sister being gone. Liz never let you forget. Never let you forget her role in your life, though, and kept in touch. Co's relations with his family improved over the years. Kyra visited several times after that summer, and things became easier between you two. He was also closer with his dad than ever before. You knew that they talked more, and that helped prevent a lot of friction before it could start. And Cove only continued to open up to his parents and the rest of the world. He was so bright, he shone. But he would willingly join conversation, make jokes, and put in effort not to use overly blunt phrasing. Cove had shifted from peripheral athletics to becoming more serious and studious as school went on. Oh, did he stop doing sports? I had him as sporty the first time I played, so he was really into sports. Things had shifted between you and Cove, but in a way you more couldn't see. After all this time, he wasn't your neighbor. He wasn't just your neighbor. He wasn't only your friend or a guy you were interested in. You were in love with him. You loved Cove. And you knew that for a fact. That fact was for certain. There was no one else you held feelings for. It was strange to look back on it and at it all. Oh God. The future faded into your present, and then it was simply the past. Even the most fundamental parts of your life couldn't last forever. You felt that the most appointed the day you inevitably graduated high school. It was over. You would not be able to go back ever again. And from now on, what came next was your choice. You could direct your own life. Oh, am I gonna have to direct what I'm gonna do? I never know. That was where you were currently. The summer after school had ended, the first summer of true freedom. What used to be a repress from the typical was now going to be your first step into adulthood. One fine summer morning, you took in what became a very special scene, the whole family having a meal together. Look at Liz, she grew up. Your big sis Liz still hadn't lived at home full time for a couple of years, but she arrived last week to spend the season since it was an off semester for her. She wanted to make sure she was in town because you had now also graduated high school. So who knew how much rarer these moments would become in the future. You watched on as Liz laughed a good-natured laugh over the comment Mom made. Her Elizabeth-only mindset had only been a phase. Nearly any nickname was welcome at this point of her life. Strangely, even though she moved away, you felt closer to her than you had in a long time. You idly scoop up more of your breakfast and chew absent-mindedly. You were a vegetarian, you were a vegan, you were a pescatarian, you were a polotarian, you were a picky eater, or you generally ate whatever. I generally eat whatever. The meals you had reflected that. It included just about everything your moms had made, though you often made your own food nowadays. With Liz around, though your parents made even more options than usual, your sister had become vegetarian for a while. And they wanted to make sure that she had choices too. Boop the snoots! I'm gonna boop my snoot! No! Hi Grim, how are you? Do I even have a nose? Are you just punching myself in the mouth? Is that booping my snoot? Or are you just doing the little area between my eyes? How are you? I'm okay, just working too much, not sleeping enough. Oh no! You got to rest. Doing pretty good. I had a friend, my old roommate, come over for a week, and that's the whole reason why I hadn't streamed. She came and stayed as I started up One Piece for the 4th time in a row. But since she's gone, I figured I might as well throw in a few streams before Christmas comes. Because I'll be away, out of state. My Wi-Fi messed up for a second. Oh no! Yeah, mine was being a butt before stream. Oh, look at Ma and Ma. I've grown older. I'm hardwired. So I missed everything after I said booping. Oh no. Well, I think I said for you to get rest. You need it. And I didn't know where you were booping because I'm like, I don't think I have a nose. The conversation had gone idle, without you fully taking in the words until your ears were perked by Ma starting a bit of town gossip. I did. I slept for the last 4 hours. I woke up to hearing my roommate's 5-year-old screaming. F. Yikes. Yeah, I had my little brother take charge of taking care of the children today because I was dead tired. And I was dealing with the child in the morning, so he got the afternoon. Wow. Uh-huh. And so that's how I heard the news. Exhausted after work right now. Ran a machine at work by myself, made and placed 300k books, pamphlets. Hot damn, that's a lot of books. Holy shit, that is a lot. What the fuck? Out there. 30. I say whatever I want. I'm still tired. I'm probably probably won't stay up too long, but who knows? Oh, I guess that's a little better, but that's still a lot. All right. Stop burying the lead and tell us, what's this so-called news? Oh, I finally remember the news. Ma giggled as she cast a look across the table, satisfied that she had everyone's attention. Well, it turns out that Donnells won't be renting out the condo up the street as per Sunset Bird tradition for the first time in what must be nearly 2 decades. A chorus of gasps and shock expressions were all around. After the initial shock, ooh, Belvis, shut up. Your eyebrows pinched. Ma may have considered them by name, but you and Liz always viewed them exclusively as the mean old couple who would yell at anyone under 25 who would cross their path. And the one on the machine complained that they couldn't keep up with the speed. The other person was there originally, left after only 2 hours of work. Oof. So I fucking did myself. Oh. I guess you go, but hopefully you get paid enough. Getting the sections of the machine, taking samples for quality control every hour. I did my hourly board count since it wasn't working right, and then I did my work. Oh. It sounds like you've done a lot. I've only worked minimum job. I got a $2 hour raise recently with the promotion. Also aiming for my shift lead position. Ooh! Look at you getting all that money. I have to wait. Or I'm waiting at least until the holidays is over before I get another job or something, and I figure out what's going on, medical issues. Your mom continued on with the story, spreading strawberry jam over a piece of toast as she did so. They decided not to take big trips anymore. Family and friends will be visiting them at their homes. Yeah, look at you going up in the world. Ooh. Yeah. You get it, Grim.
What are you so itchy for? Mr. Mocha? You itchy? Yeah? You're so cute.
That's nice of them for them then. Having a good summer, mean grandparents with no grandkids away from us. Hi, Maruka. How are you? You doing good? I keep staring at my puppy. That's good. Oh, why does my nose always have to itch when I stream? Just got off stream? Ooh. I gotta learn a lot of things still. I gotta get better running the machine, learning cutters, folders. Ooh. You don't have a nose, Wolfie. Huh, true. I like to rub the spot in between, just above my mouth. For some reason, that spot gets really itchy. Would have rated you if you came up on the list. Aw. Oh, probably. If my internet wouldn't been such a butt, I would have been streaming a bit earlier. Oh. Right after. Oh. What timing? Well, yeah. Honestly, one of the other machines I want to learn, Shipley doesn't even know how to run it. Look at you. You got this, Grim. I believe in you. That's a relief. It's kind of sad that they can't travel anymore. I hope they're still okay, even if they are mean. My thoughts exactly, Liz. Finally, they can piss off. You don't have to comment on that development. Be nice, kids. You don't want to end up like them, do you? You and your sister crack smiles at the joke. Well, at least they won't be here yelling at my children anymore.
Lonnie.
If I knew you were gonna stream tonight, I would have streamed until you went live and actually planned raid with a buddy on Christmas. Aww. Yeah, I should probably possibly work on a schedule. I guess I will work on that a little bit better after the holidays. At least it gives my family a little heads up. Wow. But I'm planning on streaming tomorrow as well. I won't do the 18th since it's Mommy Wolfie's birthday. Ooh. But other than that, I think the 18th. I won't stream the 18th, but I think I might stream the 19th. Pretty much what my goal is just to finish this game. Literally, we just have to. Ooh. Yeah, I'll be with my mom. Might as well celebrate her birthday. But I think I'm gonna try to stream at least until I finish this game, and then I'll figure out what I'm doing. And that blunt comment got laughter from all three of you. Engrossed in a conversation once more, you continued to chat with your family until the meal was over. Step 3. Third time's the charm. Ooh. It sounds like what my brother's plans are for Christmas. They work Christmas Eve and then the day after Christmas. So they're gonna literally drive all the way over to my grandparents' house, open presents, and then go back home. And I'm like, okay. That probably would have been me too, but I got medical issues and had to quit. Ooh. Speaking of which, I still have to call back my doctor. Christmas, I'll be home. I work Christmas Eve. As it went, once the food was eaten and cleanup had been done, Liz took the roll of washing dishes and passed them to you for drying and putting them away. You had set cups in the cabinet in front of you that needed to go up on the top shelf of the cabinet. Ah, okay. This is how they're asking how tall you are. It was effortless to do. You were very tall. The task was pretty straightforward. You were tall. You had to stretch, but it was doable. You were average height. It was a struggle to get them up there without a step stool. You were short. A step stool was mandatory for you. You were very short. I get paid for Christmas if I work the day and the... Oh. Gotta rearrange my room. Okay. Have a nice lurk, Grim. Shorty. I am not short. You're just tall. I'm average height. That was simply a lot in your life. You had always hovered around the expectant of your height for your age. You felt great about things. You hoped you might still grow more. You wish you had stopped growing earlier. You didn't think much about it. You didn't know what to think about it. It was a struggle for you because you remembered how you used to feel so content about it when you were younger. Liz shook you out of your internal musing by starting up an impromptu conversation. She seemed to be voicing the thoughts that had been buzzing around her own head. I have to say, going back for another semester this fall is pretty intimidating. You think after the first year or two I would have a handle on things, but no. You stole a glance at her, placing cups in its proper place. I guess it's only fair. My first round was pretty general classes, and the year one of my architecture major was the basics. Now it feels serious, like I have to actually know some things. I never got past the generals. At least a little bit. The laugh she gave was apparently airy, but the way she scrubbed at the plate was more force than necessary. I know you can handle it. I think it's really cool you want to be an architect. That does sound hard. You simply shrugged. You merely listened to her venting. Don't be too impressed yet. Wait to see if it actually happens, but thanks. Your older sister mouths quirked into a small smile. It will be fine one way or another. Oh. But I'm not trying to scare you away from college, if that's even your plan. What's going on with that anyway? Oh God. You had a solid plan set for a long time. You had come to a firm conclusion recently. You had kind of a general idea. You have no idea. Or you haven't even think about it. It was too much. This is a fantasy world. I know what the fuck I'm doing. You answer the question as much as you are able to and willing to. Lizzie's smile grew more reassuring as you did. You made it through 12 years of full-time education already. And you can make your ideas happen, I'm sure. Sometimes it still felt hard to believe your public schooling experience was over. In the end, you would graduate top of your class. You soared through with high marks. You worked extremely hard, but you were rewarded with great grades. You were average graduate. You struggled to reach the benchmarks, but you made it. You didn't even try. Made it regardless. Once again, fantasy world. I did this. I didn't try. Literally at all. Kara! Hi. That emote. I'm just gonna say oh. But you were gonna miss it. Did I miss something? No. Okay. You were gonna miss it. You felt satisfied leaving it off there. You wish you could have gone better. You were just glad it was truly behind you. Fuck school. Where's my fertilizer? I mean, hi. We haven't run into him yet, but here's Lizzie, all grown up. You achieved a lot, but it takes what you learn with you moving forward. Lizzie picked up on the silence your question ended up creating, and she decided it was time to make a closing statement on the topic.
You're a good girl.
Sophia, do what's best for you. Do what's best for you. We'll be here to back it up. Thanks, Liz. At that, Liz happily passed the final dish your way, waving a soapy-soaked hand as farewell, moving on to her next text for cleanup job. You refocused on getting the last piece and putting back where it belonged. You eventually moved on to a new chore, but it was interrupted by the sound of your cell phone. It was a default ringtone. You had a silly novelty song as the ringer. You had one of your most beloved songs as your ringer. The ringer was set to just vibrate. Come on, everyone's phone's set to vibrate. You casually pick it up from the table where you had placed it earlier. The phone was a couple years old at this point, having been a 16th birthday gift from your parents. They decided to get which model to get, but you got to pick out the color. It was silver, black, gold, rose gold, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, turquoise. My phone's actually red. Did I pick it? No. That was all they had. Rose gold. The phone, it was just a phone. You didn't do anything.
If that's the case, it was rather foolish for you to venture here, wouldn't you say?
Thank you for the host, Caro, and don't know why the image didn't show up. Great. I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix those, aren't I? Great. Had a special charm to it. It was the dolphin keychain Cove brought you as a kid, a lantern based on a lake of voices, a small shell, a crystal, a string of beads, cat face, a musical note, or a heart. You were pleased when you finally had a prompted place to use the gift. The screen lit up and you gave a little device a swipe with one finger. You were informed by the caller ID that it was Lee. You weren't surprised. Despite having busier and busier lives and not living in the same town, you still had a good relationship with your cousin of the same age. Especially once the miracle of both of you having your own phones actually happened. She got hers first, though. Tapping on the accept button, you answer the call. A familiar, bubbly voice came through right after.
Hi.
Look how pretty Lee is. She's so pretty. Hey, Sophia. Hi. I trust I'm not interrupting anything major. Only some cleaning around the house. Oh, then you welcomed for my call. A distraction must have been desperately needed. Yes, thank you, my dear cousin. Hey, I love doing chores, you joked. I like cleaning, you protest earnestly. It's good to hear from you. Even though she couldn't see it, you shook your head at that. Yes, thank you, my dear cousin.
My pleasure.
She giggled, and you could You could hear the jingling of her jewelry that she must be wearing. Nothing amazing is happening for me either. I'm bored and felt like chatting. My morning shifts ended, so I'm free for the rest of the day. Woo! Dancey dance. Dancey dance. That's good. You were off from your part-time job today. You hadn't started working yet, so you couldn't relate. Like you, Lee had started dipping her toes into the workforce as of late. It made keeping in touch frequently more complicated, but the both of you managed. What about you? It's been pretty normal.
Cool.
Then that's you then. So how's Mr. Clove Helton doing? There was a teasing bent to her tone. She was never willing to let up on what's going on between you two of you. But that name was incredibly familiar to your ears. Cove, your next door neighbor, for the past decade at this point. But he was far more. Sorry, I heard movement. Hand over mommy and nobody gets hurt. Mommy's not here. Sorry, Baminga. I can't help you. Vividly remember the summer days where you expressed your feelings for each other as little 13-year-olds. Hi, Baminga. How are you? You started officially dating years ago, or you only got together recently? You missed them. Well, I don't know if he means my mom's or if he means Ko's mom. And you were in love with him, but you were one thing you hadn't admitted yet. I'm pretty good. You were in love with him and didn't want to talk about that at this point in your life? Dancey dance. I don't know. Are you even surviving without the boy being 10 feet away at all times? Or is everything right in the world again and he's back? No, Lee, he isn't here. Just like he wasn't here yesterday, or the last time you asked, or the time before.
Sorry.
Oh, my bad. Can you blame me? Doesn't it seem like he should have made his grand return already? Plus, I want to visit soon. He needs to be there too. You could understand where she's coming from. That was certainly outside the norm. For the past couple of months and the last few weeks especially, Cove had been going to his mom's place in Nevada. The two of you still regularly stayed in contact over texts and calls. But still, your mind began to drift back to the time where all priority trips he had taken to visit her. Prior trips. Almost every year he had to go away for a while, but then he'd be back. It made you sad, lonely when it happened. You never minded. It was nice to take breaks away from each other. You weren't a fan, but made do. It was just shitty. It upsetted you. Your younger self worried about him leaving for good. My boy. You sent letters the entire time he was away. Your mom's helped you send out care packages to him and his mom. You gave him special treasures to take with him before he left. You kept an eye on his house for him when he wasn't there. You were incapable of doing anything until he got back. Send the bitch letters. Cove makes sure to mail some back to you too. That's how it was in the past, but lately he has been trying to see her as much as he could before taking long trips to another state became too impractical to do. His part-time work could become full-time soon, or he could be moving somewhere else for school. Cove hadn't actually been entirely clear what his plans were after graduation. Cove was hesitant to speak on that, even with you. It couldn't be avoided forever, though, and you both knew that.
Well?
Maybe we should switch this to a non-Cove related topic. Sounds like a plan. The rest of the conversation rolled on. Not much longer, though Lee had to go. You needed to finish your responsibilities around the house. The both of you exchanged goodbyes, and then you were... Hold a minute. Oh, okay. No, I just forgot to look at what the phone color was look. Both of you exchanged goodbyes, and then you went back to what you were doing, what you've been working on before the call came in. Now here's Liz for more of her outfit. As you wrapped up the last of your chores, you were approached by Liz wearing a cheeky smile. I got Mom's keys. You want to go get out of this tiny town and do some shopping in the real city? That sounds great. Around 11 my time, I gotta go downstairs and turn off Christmas lights.
Good.
I'm driving. That was obvious. You didn't know how to drive. You were glad for that. You still had your learner's permit. Even though you could drive, it was her plan, and if she wanted to do it, she could do it if she wanted to. It wasn't nice of her to do. You had a license, but try to avoid driving when possible. This is me. I hate driving, even though I have my license. Go get your wallet and anything else. We're going now. Me. Yeah, I was driving with Trash the other day, and I was just like, hopefully we don't die. And they're like, what? And I was just like, haha, you're stuck with me now. With a nod, you made a quick detour to collect your stuff from your bedroom. Trash already went back home. She went home, yesterday. Yeah. You had the money saved up from all the part-time work you had done, as well as the gifts you had received. After making sure that both were fully prepared for the long haul to the largest city in the surrounding area, you buckled into the car. It was a smooth ride there, with light conversation about what to shops to stop at, and the radio blasting. Lizzie controlled what was playing, and she made sure to pick the songs she knew you liked. There was something the two of you had always done for each other. The trip there breezed by, and in what felt like no time, you had gone from cruising down the road to cruising through a mall. Liz had her interests to check out, and you had yours. Your hobbies and skills were still the ones you had developed when you were younger, or you got into new things growing up. No, they're still the same. Turning a corner down the new length of the mall, your eyes catch on a little gift store. Your friends and family had gotten you many presents for graduating high school. You realized that you wanted to get a graduation gift yourself to give to Cove. You had a gift of your own ready to give Cove when he when the chance came. God damn. It's been a long time and I'm shit at reading. Who am I kidding? I was always shit. You really appreciate what you had gotten. It's something you had known what you wanted to do, or you were looking forward to seeing his reaction. Graduation may have come and gone, but Cove wasn't really around, so you had to wait. Eventually, the mall was fully explored in full, with every shot of note being checked over. Rather than going home, you decided to walk over to some smaller stores nearby. Liz had made thoughts on that topic.
So?
Honestly, malls are not a bastion of society. Even if smaller stores required extra distance, the brands are so much more. Then your sister abruptly stopped speaking, walking right in the middle of the path. It was a good thing no one was behind her. She seems to entirely shut off for a moment. Liz? An attempt to catch her attention was unsuccessful. There was something else that had all her focus. Before you could puzzle out what might be happening, she began to mumble out of the corner of her mouth. Sophia, don't draw attention, but look. What? With a harsh whisper and a subtle jerk of her head, she urged you once more.
Hey.
Look. Look. You followed her gaze as best you could to a large bunch of colorful teens strolling down the same path. Okay. Ooh, my dog goes and... Yay! Do you know what was wrong? Or... Are you okay with sharing it, or... You faced back to your sister with a confused expression, and there was an unspoken question. What were you supposed to be seeing there? Sophia? Doesn't one of them seem familiar? She had... Leptospirosis and affected her uterus greatly. Aw, poor baby. It's good that she's better. She was practically bouncing at this point. You looked over to the group over again, and this time you saw what she was seeing. Do you guys see it? Guess who we're seeing? Amongst the collection of strangers was brown hair, gray eyes, and lots of freckles. We gotta remove the uterus. Once that is done, recovery should be smooth. Oh, okay. Hopefully it goes well. This girl is cheating. Oh my gosh. That's Shiloh. Our Shiloh from when we were kids. Yep, that's definitely him. I can't believe it. He's honestly just there. It's hilarious. It's incredible. Shiloh! Yeah, it's Shiloh. Oh, but how do we talk to him? We have to pull him away from all those other people, and what if I'm wrong? Your mouth's open to reply, and then she cuts it off with her own answer to the question. It is a I got it. I'll shout the name Shiloh and then we can act like it wasn't us. If he responds to that, then we know without a doubt that it's him. Sophia, can you keep an eye out to see if he looks? Liz, can't you try talking to him normally? We're not doing that. That's a terrible plan. Why do I have to be the one who watches? At least it's not my fertilizer. Let's try it. Fine. You don't even know how to react. Let's try it. Likely without even hearing what you had to say, Liz put her plan into action. Always did like that Shiloh boy. That's the most teenage thing I have ever read slash heard. Shiloh! She loudly projects the word across the way and then acts casually, turning her head away from the scene while brushing the skirt of her dress. In supreme awkward moment, you can only stand there as the attention in the area shifted to you two, but thanks to your sister's shout. But of all the mainly startled bystanders who became altered to your presence, one of them was the boy. From a distance, his large eyes met yours. He looked a wide grin over Liz's face. She pushed the rim of her sun hat up and away from her face and then swished back around to greet the old friend directly. Shiloh. Waving, she stepped a bit closer to express her intention to meet without really closing the gap. She wanted him to come to her. Who you presumed to be Shiloh looked surprised at the call-out. He stole a quick glance at the crowd he was with and then hesitantly glanced back your way. He was trying to double-check something. Liz remained steadfast and her gaze trained on him, and ultimately he broke away from the rest of them. After a light-footed jog across the brick path, the young man pleasantly presented himself in front of you and Liz.
Hi.
I like your hat. Just a simple greeting that had Liz giggling.
Hey.
Hello. I'm not sure if you remember this, but I'm Lizzie and that is Sophia, and we were all friends when we were little kids. His already wide eyes grew larger. Their glaze started between the two, you and Liz. His previous chipper demeanor faded into something delicate. I'm really sorry, but I think you have the wrong person. You could tell not being instantly recognized was going to make this exchange more of a challenge. Still, Liz was undetermined. I think. It was a long time ago. You were really young, and I get why you feel like that. However, I'm positive I'm right. You're the exact same. That face, the freckles, and how you generally try to phrase things. You're even still wearing a hat. Yep, fuck it. He looked at his hat wearer with creased brows, not making the connection on why the hat meant something to her.
Okay.
We knew each other, okay? An uneasy smile settled on him as the silence followed Liz's speech. He picked his next words carefully, and the quiet of the upper literate, by a new voice bursting through into the conversation. Shiloh! What are you doing? The rest of the group had already left. A field trip is not a vacation. We're on a schedule. Okay, Nate. Startled, your head snapped towards the path, and a direct, unhappy individual with pierced magenta eyes, dark brown skin, and a sharp jaw stormed your way. He carried a clout of authority with him, despite looking like he wasn't even 18 yet. Oh, Nate.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to ditch. Shiloh, whose name was now officially confirmed, gestured with a hand to add the explanation to his absence as strangers watched impatiently. They thought they recognized me as someone they knew, but it's a tiny misunderstanding. Liz, theoretically, as well as literally putting her foot down, stomping in frustration, getting more childish the longer she was around her childhood companion.
Come on.
We do know you. Shiloh merely shrunk in on himself. The tone he spoke with was pained. Sorry. You honestly couldn't tell if he was apologizing for the upsetting feelings of your sister or the... God damn it. Ultimate dissatisfaction of his new acquaintance. That in itself was very Shiloh-like. Oh, and you know him? Is that it? The stranger spoke in a dismissive, scoff tone, as the all the little dancies. As the words sounded so absurd to him was almost amusing, almost. But the sternness of his demeanor quickly reinstated itself. Well, do you know me? I'll tell you. I'm someone who has been forced against his will to be aware of what's going on in Shiloh's ridiculous personal life for a year. If the two of you had any importance in his general day-to-day existence, it would have come up by now. Don't bother trying to exaggerate any trivial connection you might have had. It's not good enough. He's with us. You will survive without him. Now, stop loitering in the road. It's rude.
Excuse me?
Were the ones rude ones? The high-strung rant got an audible gasp from Shiloh, who finally started to speak up against in defense. Nate, that's really mean. It's also true. We're leaving. The declaration and unofficial introduction, Nate. Fighting words. They're all fighting words. All these little jerks. He walked speedily towards the group where the group went, completely confident that Shiloh will follow behind. Oh, people can sure have bad attitudes, huh? Why can't they just try to get along? It's not hard. Don't worry, though. I bet you won't have to deal with him again. Oh, I'm sorry I can't stay and talk to you, but I hoped that you had a really nice life.
Bye.
Bye, Shiloh! And that was that. His parting words given, Shiloh left the two of you behind to catch up with his own life that he had to go live. Liz watched his exit, stunned, and only frowned when it hit her that he was really gone as quickly as he appeared. It happened so fast that you hadn't even been able to get a word in. She sighed, all the energy she built up released in a breath. Nice life. Ouch. Yeah. It's funny because Kalo's not here, and I believe Kalo was the one who liked him the most. I was just like, oh, you're in for a treat. She sighed. All the energy. Yeah, okay. I could have told him that his last name was Fields. His birthday was October 30th. I would have proven it, but no. Yeah. There you go, Flamingo. I'm sorry, Liz. Wow. Shiloh grew up to be dumb. Yeah, Kayla always does miss the good parts. And so do you. You left feeling equally deflated. Hello! How are you? Whoever Nate is, he sucks. Well, damn. You couldn't help but laugh. Nate sucks. It's funny. Because Nate's also just like one of those characters from the other game. Pinky, Pinky. He was so unnecessarily unpleasant when you all wanted to do was talk to someone for a moment. Do you want to go catch up with him? Liz merely shook her head.
Leaves no puzzle unsolved.
Thanks for the follow. Over there. Quick, as she's distracted. Grab Cove and run. Thanks for the follow. Alexei? Yay, names. Reading. Fun. Liz merely shook her head, pushing off childish thoughts. I think we can leave it there. Thanks. He's in the middle of a high school field trip, and it's already enough being able to see him. There's something reassuring about witnessing firsthand that he's still out there, enjoying his own part of the world. Although, given the chance, I definitely would have a few words with him about the company he's got. She laughed. You could tell that there wasn't much humor to it. She was mad at the guy, even if she was happy to let Shiloh go. Maybe they're only with each other because of the trip and not usually how things are.
Right?
True. We can only hope the same for him as he did for us. Have a nice life, Shiloh. Imagine not having any to read emo. Have a good life. Bye, Shiloh. We missed you. Good luck out there. You need it. You don't have anything else. Liz smiled at you. It had the self-confidence you knew so well from her. Come on, little baby sister. Let's finish our own trip. Yeah. No matter how either of you felt about the occurrence, it was something you simply had to accept. People you know just disappear and reappear at the most unexpected ways. The two of you enjoyed what remains of your outing until the time to return home. By the time you arrived back, the sun was already beginning to set. In the DLC, Shiloh did some things you want to punch him. Flamingo! You're rating. Just you wait. Once I get follower more slots, all shall unlock. For me. I knew that Shiloh was no good. You just said he was a good boy earlier. Lie, slander. I already knew how Shiloh was because I knew, because I seen the game before, where the game that you're able to date him in. By the time you arrived, the sun had already begun to set. You arched your back as you stretched your arms towards the ceiling. While it had been a good day, it had enough activity to cover an entire week. Liz tried to hide the yawn behind her hands, and you're only one feeling worn out. You weren't the only one feeling worn out. I'll be heading up to your room. I mean, the guest room. What are your thoughts on codes so far? I absolutely love them. This is actually like my second time playing through the game. I think it was a really cool like concept with everything. And I enjoy it. Though, Daddy Caro, on the other hand, wants to make fertilizer out of him. I live for the guy. Yeah. I can't. I'm like trying to finish this up for like the wedding DLC that's supposed to come out in this month. Since mine stopped being available as soon as I was out the door. Her tone was light. She quite had a lot to say on the subject when you first taken over her bigger room after she left college. But there was been many trips back home for her since then. The room hadn't been hers for years. It'd been more of a running joke now, and she continues to bring up this topic to the day. Let it go, Liz. I don't see your name on it. Thank you, Liz. It's a nice room. Thank you being so graciously about giving it up. No way shall force me to walk my daughter down the aisle. Don't worry, I'll make you walk Cove down the aisle. I just wanted to follow in my big sister's shoes. I'm sorry. Thank you, Liz. It's a nice room. Hey, don't actually sound appreciative. It's playing dirty. Caro and her fertilizer. A small laugh was shared between you and your older sister.
Mm-hmm.
You better believe you'll be back in the guest room when you got your own place and we will both be in town for visiting. We can take turns. You'll have Thanksgiving and I'll get Christmas. Sure. Don't count on it. That's alright. I don't need it. What a reasonable and mature suggestion. I'll think about accepting it. She flashed her familiar grin, and you couldn't help but feel glad she's back around, even if it's temporary. With that, she fluttered off to the spare room, and you were ready to do the same. Moving into the new space was your first opportunity to decorate it from scratch. Guess what? We get to design the room. Okay, yay! Layout blue, green. I did not mean to do that. Purple, yellow. Blood everywhere. Calm down, Flamingo. Or I'll put flamingo heads everywhere. The same person who bought me the DLC threatened to buy me the wedding DLC. I think it's going to be really cute from what I've seen, and I can't wait for the second game to come out. I said blood, not my dead brothers and sisters. I do kind of like the yellow room. If not, haven't actually seen what all of these do. What are you talking about? What do you mean there's no extras? Rude. No, I think I do like the yellow one the most. Cool. Every team has the edgy posters, definitely needs some. Ah, yeah, you're right. I should have the otter. Oh wait, that's a seal. Never mind. Emo rock band. You were really satisfied and felt like it's a tiny part of the world. Okay. As your thoughts drifted, you tried to bite down another yawn. It was no good. Your bed was now lodged in your mind, and all you could think about was collapsing on it. What a mood. I love sleeping on my bed. Naps. Naps are so good. Naps. You trudged upstairs to your room. Stepping inside, you closed the door behind you, blocking the rest of the house. Otters are the best sea mammals, and no one can... I'll be right back. I need to make a phone call. Caro, why do you always gotta leave at the parts? Sorry, it's gonna happen. As soon as you're gonna leave, something's gonna happen. Stepped inside. I'm just gonna leave you to believing sea otters are good. They're cute. They look cute. I can tell you that much. The rest of it, I'm just gonna quietly step back from. Stepping inside, you close the door behind you, blocking the rest of the house. When you turned back around, you realize you're not alone there. Comfortably perched on the windowsill, someone very familiar to you. Guess who? I was like, Kara's just about to leave when we're about to find the boy in the house. Cove Bolton. There was a shock that knocked all the words out of you. What the hell? Huh? How are you here? Surprise. His tone was easy and relaxed. It certainly was a surprise, and you hadn't expected him to be within the state, never mind your own house. He hadn't answered how he suddenly just appeared back in Sunset Bird. Though, to be fair, you were been too astonished to actually ask the question. Necromani has a knife. I hope she doesn't stab me. Must have been saged. Thankfully, Cove took the hint from your stunned expression and began to explain.
So...
I got it in about 15 minutes ago. No one was home, so I figured I'd come in the usual way. The usual way, Caro. The usual. The window. A small smile had formed on his face. That's nothing but small. The usual. Yeah, the usual. Bold. A small smile had formed on his face. You were still staring at him, unable to blink, in case he disappeared. You could barely believe that he was really there, mere feet away from you. Oh. Alexei, are you still here? Did you get the 18 plus DLC? If you are. Ah, yes, casually climbs through the window. Yes, of course. He did it. He was doing it at 13. That's what he started. A small smile had formed on his face. You were still staring at him, unable to blink in case he disappeared. You could barely believe that he was really there, mere feet away from you. I left my bags in your backyard. I hope that's alright. That was when you truly understood. Cove had come straight to you upon getting back in town. You were his first port to call, taking presents of credence above all else. Even though you hadn't been in when he called, Cove had ensured that he sees you the earliest opportunity rather than allowing his plans to get changed. Ah, yes, breaking in and entering at 13. Yes. Though to be fair, it was more like I was letting him in. You laughed. The realization made you bashful. You shook your head at his antics. You stayed frozen. Shock had yet to melt away. You walked over to join him, or you ran to go. Let him in, Frankie Pinky. Hey, we're 18 now, so... Oh, blushy blush. Every second away from him was a moment too long. As you approached Cove quickly hopped off the windowsill to meet you. You're too crazy. I'm glad you're here. I miss you. Trouble's back in town. I can't believe my eyes. It's the most amazing man in the world. Is it? No, because you add 5. When you're 13, because the ages have been going up by 5s. So if we were 13, you add 5, 18. So technically we're legal. They were 16 though. No, they weren't. They were 13 last step. Yeah, because we were 8 in step 1, and then you add 5, that is 13. Damn, I can't confuse you. Hey, I think we had a whole conversation about this last time. I don't think you can, Flamingo. I kind of like Trouble's back in town. 21 is illegal. Yeah, illegal for drinking. You ruffled his hair, you wrapped him in a gentle embrace, you pulled him into a bone-crushing hug, you jumped into his arms, you smiled, you kissed him. Jumping into his arms is kind of good. But can I kiss him too? Nah, I won't kiss him. He instinctively began to close his eyes as your face leaned in closer to his. You did it on the forehead, you did it on the nose, you did it on the cheek, or you did it on the lips. Kiss him. Jump onto him. He met you part ways, and the two of you shared a gentle greeting kiss. You then stepped back a bit. Cove rubbed the side of his head furtively, glancing down. Though he couldn't help but get a little nervous still, he was beaming. I missed you. Boo, only gentle. Shh, we're not there yet. We better hurry before Daddy Kara comes back. Even if he hadn't said it outright, you would have gotten the message from his body language. Cove was grinning widely. He raised his cheeks buried in his raised cheeks buried in his eyes, which gleams like hidden gems. Reading. But he looked at you as if you were the most exciting treasure of all. How was the trip? Cove's brows creased as he considered your question. Then he leaned in and kissed you again. Woo! Double kisses. Kisses, kisses. After a long moment, he broke the kiss and tilted his face back just enough to speak, but not so much that your forehead stopped touching. Oatmeal. Just not coming in. You must have that high quality hair, 18 years, and not faded at all. It's just his natural hair. I hate it. Let's never be apart again, okay? He said that absolutely as a joke, an exaggeration, something that wasn't a real request, of course, but yet, despite all that, it felt real. Your heart hammered in your chest, your head swung, casting adrift on a tide of thoughts and adrenaline. Green is not natural. He's not gonna know. Hey, you can choose any hair color you want as a kid. It's fictional. That's why we can't have nice things, because they're all fictional. I have also yet to see anyone who had like wavy eyebrows that were natural. Of course, I haven't looked it up either, so. Cove smiled, offering a silent apology for the sudden onslaught of tenderness, but he let the words proudly hang in the air all the same. Oh no, you definitely had crazy hair as a kid. Exposed. I don't know, I was like more blonde. My call has been moved an hour later. Why is he so close? Nothing. Nothing. We did nothing. Go, run. Daddy's back. Oh, no. Abort mission. Cove told you about his trip back had gone. Soon, you even recovered enough to actually listen. His mom was doing really well. She had a project in the works that she was thrilled about. As a result, Cove was going to stick around in Sunset Bird for the time being. Things were settled as much as they ever could be. With Cove back once more, you felt at ease. Cove stretched his arms out over his head, his eyes on the window and world beyond. The sun had set while you've been busy reunited. Cove stole a second smooched.
Well,
I should probably get my stuff and see Dad. He glanced over to you with a familiar, expectant look. Want to come with me? You know I do. No, but I'm lucky downstairs. Sure, I can go over for a little bit. Yeah.
Cool.
Code began heading to your bedroom door. You followed him, or you insisted on getting him. You insisted on a piggyback ride. Fucking. It was a special occasion, or it was a normal thing in your relationship. Go. He paused, turned to face you once more. You coming back is a big moment, something worth celebrating. What I'm trying to say is I want you to give me a piggyback ride. Code didn't say anything, his eyebrows raised in disbelief.
Seriously?
Really, Sophia, you want me to carry you downstairs? You nodded. Cove rolled his eyes. He bent down so you can clamber onto his back. Even while crouching down, Cove was pretty high up, and it took a bit of effort for you to get up there properly. Cove wobbled as he straightened up, not terribly unaccustomed to balancing someone on his shoulder. Am I, like, on his shoulder or on the back? I think I'm on the shoulders. Crushed his head. Code carried you down the stairs. You had to duck a couple of times with the ceiling grazing against your elevated head. Still, you safely reached the ground floor of your house. Oh, he's carrying. The door is going to be in the way. Get off here so I can open it. He bent down so you could safely slide off his back. Seeing things from your usual height was disorientating after getting accustomed to looking down at everything. In all the excitement of Ko's return, you hadn't even remembered the gift that you prepared for when he got back. It would be best to give it to him now before he left your house. Can you wait here for a little while? I got something for you. Cove tilted his head, intrigued.
Really?
You nodded with some eagerness, trying to imagine how he reacted when he actually saw it. You had bought Cove something special. The gift you had chosen been something The gift you had chosen hadn't been something you could buy. I think it was a dolphin-shaped balloon, a fruit bouquet, a new fish for his aquarium. These are all good. A box of strawberry swirl ice cream cups. Ooh. So these are all cute that they're all from little moments. Or the inklet for you to model for him. Kalo! Fish. Ah. Oh, Kalo, you miss Shiloh. Anklet. Because it's fun. You smiled to yourself as you ascended the stairs to retrieve the gift. Shiloh the butthead, yeah. The stairs to retrieve the gift. It looked innocent enough, tucked away safely in your room, but appearances could be deceiving. You picked it up and hurried back down to Cove, the item hidden in your hand. He doesn't even exist here. Cove the buttface. Why are you calling my darling a buttface? I missed everything. Rip. Shiloh is canceled. You waited until you were in front of him to reveal the item. The Cove's fertilizer. And holding it out before your longtime neighbor. Cove smiled, still none the wiser.
Cool.
Why, Sophia? I can definitely wear that. You pulled back your hand and held the anklet to your chest. Caro is a heart. That isn't what this is about. It's not for you to wear. The gift is seeing me wear it. His mouth dropped open. I'll give him credit. He buttoned his shirt. He's wearing a shirt underneath it. Is what's happening. Hey. Call me out, why don't you? Ko's mouth dropped open. His hand was still outstretched from where he had reached out for the gift, left hovering and forgotten in the air. Ko blushed. Drew his arm back and ran a hand through his hair where it snagged against the other hand as it did the same thing. Ooh, shoot. Okay. Since it's nearly 11:30, I will be right back. I have to go turn off the lights. Oop. Almost alone with the boy. Stop trying to murder him anytime I'm away. Your surprise had disoriented him, though he didn't have any objections. Even after all the time you've been together, you still knew how to have an impact on him. You're very thoughtful to remember that and everything. His soft voice tickled you, much like butterflies that so often took up the residence in your stomach when it came to him. You're really seriously too nice to me. He smiled back. I don't think there is such thing as too nice when it comes to you. Ko blushed his hand against the ghost pale of a scar on his arm, as he was lost for what to do now. The clock was ticking away, counting the seconds of silence. Once you had gotten a chance to settle your thoughts, you could figured you'd tell Cove about the intriguing news. I meant to tell you earlier. I saw Shiloh today.
Huh?
Shiloh. Cove repeated the name, his expression blank. From when we were kids? Cove pondered for a moment and then snapped his fingers. Oh. He was the freckle boy from the first summer, right? The one who moved? Who's that? Mood. I met a guy named Shiloh. He looked just like Shiloh we knew, plus however many years. Sandcastle boy, yeah. But he didn't remember me and just left. Cove frowned. That's, I don't know. Too bad I missed it. Though you knew him better than I did. That was definitely true. Not only had Cove known Shiloh a shorter period of time, but he and Shiloh never quite got along. Not that they were enemies either. Just kids who were only ever together because other people they both knew. Wonder what Shiloh's up to these days. I don't have any idea. He didn't say much.
Oh.
Well, that was everything you had on the news item. So you moved on to the next big update. Also, you know the mean old neighbors, the ones who would always yell at us? He cringed, recalling those particular memories back in the day was not pleasant even for someone as nostalgic as him. Yeah. They're not coming. They didn't rent the condo this summer. Cove's jaw dropped. You didn't blame him. The elder couple had been an institution for as far back as you could remember, long predating Cove's arrival. Even now, as teenagers, you found your neck crinkled as you walked by their condo, half expecting a scolding for breathing the wrong way in the vicinity of their vacation home. It was strange to think that was coming to an end. Wow. Cove blinked, clearly struggling with the idea with the same way you had. I didn't see that coming. People have been gone and people come back, and it feels like I've missed a lot. This has been a busy summer already. Well, you haven't missed the fireflies. They haven't showed up yet. Well, that's something. We better not get left behind. There's still a lot of stuff to do. You nodded. As soon as you left your house, Cove bent down to let you climb onto his back for the last part of the journey. It seems that no sooner had the night begun, it was already at the end, and the dawn of a new day was upon you. The next morning, your belly was full of breakfast, and you were in a pleasant mood, and you hoped the rest of the day would follow suit. Later, you had a meeting up with your friends, Cove, Miranda, Terry, to go into town. It was all on short notice, but it was because everyone was so excited that Cove finally came back home. Yeah. Look, there's Mom! They're slowly getting older. Having a nice daydream? You blinked, pushing all your thoughts away and returning to reality, your mom watching you with a teasing smile.
Alright.
So, what's on an agenda today? Meeting up with some people. Well, I hope you and your friends have fun. Don't get into too much trouble. She winked at you, and you knew both your moms wanted you to enjoy every bit of the summer before all big changes started. I'll try.
That'd be great.
But before you go gallivanting around town, could you bring the mail in? I finished putting the dishes away over here. All right. Thanks very much. Oh God, that reminded what happened last Sunday. My mom was like, "Oh, go get out. Since you're home, go get the mail." And I'm like, "Okay." Walks out in the cold with all my little slippers as I run over, and I was like, "There's no mail." And I was like, "This bitch." I'm like, run all the way back, and I'm like, "There's no mail." And my mom goes, "Oh yeah, it's Sunday." And I was like, "Hey." Look at Daddy! Mr. Halton! As soon as you were outside your front door, you couldn't help but see Cove and his dad standing around the road. They noticed you too.
Hey.
Hey there, Sophia. Hi, good timing. You should come join us. You waved, you hugged, you gave him a high five, you gave him a noogie, you ruffled his hair, or you kissed him. On the cheek, on the forehead, on the lips, on the nose, or on his hand. Kiss Daddy now! Cove welcomed you as you stepped closer. You cupped the side of his face with one hand, staring into his eyes, and leaned in. Oh, never. He met you halfway, placing a hand on your lower back and brought you even closer. It was quicker than you wanted it to be, especially now that you had gotten lost in the moment. I like starting to get whatever. Your hand slid from his cheek to his chest when you parted. The lips pulled into a satisfied smile. Grr. To a satisfied smile as he... I'm doing this in front of the dad, too. He looked at you with stars in his eyes. You noticed Mr. Halton was taking in the scene of you and Cove being with a self-satisfied smile. And Cove followed your line of sight and shot to his dad with an unimpressed look. For a moment, Mr. Halton seemed like he had a thought dance on the tip of his tongue and decided to keep it to himself.
So,
what are you up to today? As far as I know, nothing too much. Me and Cove are meeting some friends in town later. Sounds like a plan to me. Yawning, Mr. Halton stretched his arms over his head. My boy and I have just been waiting around to see what new neighbors are like. It's definitely his idea. I don't know how you're not interested in this. It's big news, and besides, only being polite to greet the new folks in town. Maybe it'll be a single dad and a son. You've been here too long if seeing a new person rent a condo is considered an exciting development. Yes, I've been dying to see the newcomers. Your response was just a shrug. I don't want to meet them. Well, anyone has to be better than the last attendance. Maybe it's a single dad and his son. Cove snort an airy laughter at the suggestion.
oh?
You think we'll have some competition? For several moments, Mr. Halton was unable to answer. He was still chuckling when he put his hands on his hip, trying to compose himself.
Nah.
Absolutely not. We're the number one father-son duo in this town, and there's no one changing that. Mr. Halton took one more glance at the current vacant building and sighed dramatically as he turned back to you and Cove. His whole body seemed deflated. There's no sign of them, and I need to head over to work soon. Cove gave his dad a few reassuring pats on the back. Okay, I promise to keep an eye out. You can text if anything happens. Really?
Of course.
Well, I mean, only until I have to meet up with Terry and Miranda. Would that still work? All I have to do is marry the father, and then the marriage can't happen because they become sibs. Karo. I've seen anime. That won't stop anyone. Especially if we're this far along. With a wide grin breaking out on his face, Mr. Halton was absolutely thrilled to have his nosinousness enabled. What anime are you watching? Old romance ones. I think it's called Marmalade Boy. If I was reading that, or if I thought about that correctly. I think that's definitely one of them. I mean, anime. The book is no peacock. No. That, and I think there is like a dating sim where it was just like you're like already in your 20s or whatever, and you just happen your parents get whatever, and then married, and then you end up the new father was like, hey, since you live with your mom, I have this free house or whatever that no one's living in, and you can goodbye anime living in, you can go live there if you want. You're like, hell yeah, sweet. You get there, he forgot he rented it out to his son, and then you end up falling in love with the son because he's actually one of your coworkers. It's weird, but if you kind of forget that they're step siblings, you're like, oh, okay. Wolfie's probably. I have not actually watched that. With a wide grin breaking out his face. Oh, I have read that. That works. God, I love those tropes. Definitely has. I love it. To try to see it. He moves to a firm place over both hands over Cove's shoulder, fixing his child a firm stare. Son, you are truly my true ally in this world. Oh, Lord. Mr. Holton stood up straighter, letting Cove go, and he looked invigorated. Having trash taste is my job. Okay, with that settled, I'm going to make some money. That always has been one thing I do best. Mr. Holton headed off to the garage with a big wave goodbye. Cove smiled the whole time you were watching his dad leave. You really liked Mr. Holton. Mr. Holton was one of your favorite people. Mr. Cove's dad was a kind of a bother. Oh my gosh. Or you had mixed feelings about Mr. Holton. No, he's great. He always tries his best and was honest. It's just great. As soon as he was out of sight, Cove sighed lightly. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Just not looking forward to waiting. I guess I'll be hanging around the street for a while. Good luck. See ya. Bye. See you later. Bye. I'll stick around to see the new neighbor. I can wait with you. Why don't I stay to see the new neighbor and keep you company? Curious about the new attendant was getting the better of you, and you could figure that it was the wait wouldn't be too much longer. Besides, you couldn't leave Cove. Really? Of course. I like keeping you company, remember? He stared at you for a moment, smiling softly, thinking about his response.
Me too.
No. I like that, too. Cove put his hands on your shoulder, the thumb absently moving in a soothing circle. The look on his face was much firm, and he was serious. Sophia, you're my true ally in this world. That got a fair amount of chuckles from you. He grinned. The stoicism faded into amusement.
Thank you.
You're always good to me. You're lucky to have me. It's no problem. I can't help myself. You laughed, you shook your head, or you simply shrugged. Yeah? Well, good then. I don't know what I would do without you. The smile on his face reached his eyes, and made you feel eccentric. Electric. What? Yep, fuck it. And then he let you go. Ko stepped over to his front porch steps, lazily taking a seat and leaning back on his arms. Our watch begins. Nodding in agreement, you joined Cove on the front steps, and you both sat there in a comfortable familiar as you settled in for the waiting game of the new tenants. The neighborhood was quiet, and you sighed contently, closing your eyes, feeling the light breeze. The only sound you could hear was the familiar jingle of Cove's wind chime. After all these years, it was still there, adoring the entrance outcropping his house. Eventually, you both parked up at the sound of the car. A taxi following a noise turned onto your street. Cove's eyebrows raised at the sight. He sat up straight on the stoop.
Oh?
That has to be them, right? It's gotta be. Now that they were here, you couldn't help but feel a bit curious. You wondered what kind of person would be living in the neighborhood for the summer. The taxi pulled to a stop, as you expected, in front of the now empty condo. It was on the same side of the street as your house. A few buildings further up. Without getting to his feet, Cove tried leaning and tilting his head to get a view of the passenger door as it opened. A single occupant exited the cab. You guys ready? Huh? You could feel what Cove was in the moment. After the last re-enters, this new visitor was definitely not exactly what you expected. You guys ready to see the new attendant? Ta-da! Look at the sassy one. It was a young man, close to be your own age. He was dressed fully in an eccentric black, white, and gray outfit, even with his side stoop hair matching the scheme. The only pops of colors were something that couldn't easily... Who the heck are you, and why do I want to punch you? From something that couldn't easily be fashioned into submission. A pair of dark brown eyes which caught you when he looked over at his audience. Hello, folks. Who might you be? Were the neighbors? A smile was already prominent on his face, curling further if it was cocky. But you didn't get the impression that it was meant to be something at first. Hallelujah. You and Cove shared a familiar look with one another, bewildered even further. The color-coded man left it there, however, with a firm click, shut the door of his ride, and then turned his back to you to retrieve a large, unsurprisingly black suitcase from the trunk. How many of those do you have? Continuing on with his own business, he strolled up further and lightly tapped on the driver's side window with his knuckles, asking for them to roll it down. When it opened, he leaned over, resting his arm on the edge. You assumed that he was thanking the driver for getting there and considering slipping them a tip during the brief chat. I'm gonna draw one for myself. Do it. They shook hands, and then he pushed himself up away from the taxi with both arms, giving the driver room to leave. The taxi pulled away, rolling carefully down the road and out of sight. Around the corner, the new renter had officially arrived. Look at this man. Yes. My answer alert. He left his suitcase on the ground, out of the way of the street, and sauntered over your way with confidence of someone who had been invited to join. Cove finally stood up to greet the person, and you followed suit.
Excellent.
I want to slap, but won't let me slap. Hello, guys. Welcome to the second dateable option when the DLC comes out. Fertilizer, slap him. I am Baxter Ward. It's excellent to meet you, neighbors. You were standing on the side as he approached from. When Baxter got close enough, he offered his hand to you first. You shook it. You offered a low high five. Who the fuck is this? Kill them. Fertilizer 2.0. You held your arms open for a hug instead, or you kept your distance. I take it back. Fertilizer may have you marriage just ticking. I'll shake it. Baxter gripped your hand firmly and gave it a satisfying shake. Hi, Baxter. I'm Sophia. Hey, Sophia. I'm quite keen on getting to know you better this summer. We could be good friends. From your other side, Cove had made a sudden sputtering noise. And you are? He lifted his hand to Cove next. Cove shook it, his hand still eyeing Baxter carefully. I'm Cove. Baxter's whole demeanor lit up for an unknown reason. His eyes shone as he studied Cove a moment.
Really?
Wait now. Is that a nickname or your real name? It's just my name. Cove spoke mild, having given the explanation many times in the past, but it was clearly charmed Baxter all the same. He tossed his head to one side with a laugh. Your parents knew exactly what they were doing. I can't imagine more fitting name for a face I'm seeing. Cove, that's gorgeous.
What?
It's really not. No, I agree. It suits you. Hey, only I can fluster him. That's a lot considering you're talking to a stranger, Baxter. Or you don't know what you're saying, or he's taken. Imagine calling your kid Baxter. Oh my god. Taken. Ah. That's disappointing. I'm not surprising. I'm guessing he's yours?
Yes.
Dude. He jumped on that so quickly. Sophia's my girlfriend.
I get it.
And that's crushing, but makes sense. I've gotten here too late, obviously. Though, really, I didn't mean to intrude on anything you had. Good boy. Keep her away from him, fertilizer. I am patiently against stepping on anyone's toes. He chuckled to himself. It seems like there was some extra meaning hidden in his words. You notice that Cove raised an eyebrow, picking up on that too. Baxter didn't even open his eyes to see your face to know that he had some filling to do. He stood up straighter, striking a slight pose with a position of his feet. He thinks he can steal you away from him. Fucking emote. Or your papa? I'm a ballroom dancer, hence the phrasing. Oh, I don't know much about dancing, but that's pretty cool. It's not hard once you get the basics down. Fertilizes the fertilizer. Cove didn't look convinced at all. Baxter took that as a cue to keep talking.
Well,
He grinned in a way that was rapidly becoming familiar to you. Either of you are ever looking for a partner? I'm available. I'll pass. Cove peeked at you, smiling softly. You felt his familiar touch as he squeezed your hand for a moment.
sorry.
There's only one person I want to dance with, sorry. I can accept that. At least he can back off if he knows, like, okay. Jealous Carly. I'll take you up on that offer sometimes. I'd rather not. You didn't answer the question exactly. Cove is the guy I dance with. Baxter smiled, nodded, understanding, letting go of the subject go. After that, there was a lull in the conversation and Cove attempted to fill it.
So,
What made you decide on Sunset Bird? Oh yes. My parents rented a condo and I had a place to stay while I'm off for a semester from college. And not living in the dorms. No. There was a playful glint in Baxter's eyes as he continued.
honestly,
Hardly. They wanted to send me somewhere that wasn't too exciting, but luckily for me, they picked the wrong street, considering the two of you live here. Baxter then preemptively lifted his hands up to the front of his chest, giving a gesture that meant no harm. It's nice not to be the only one my age around the neighborhood for the entire summer. Nothing more. That was the story that you had heard before. The same one as when Lonely Cove and his dad moved in all those years ago. Cove wasn't relating. Still, you could have phrased it like that in the first place. I don't feel the need to keep my words of praise to myself. They are not romantically come-ons, and I see the two of you are very much a committed pair. And I'd like to be friends if we can, but that's all. It's okay. It doesn't bother me. I appreciate if you didn't do that with me. I find it pretty entertaining, or you probably ignore a lot of people. You stood there not sure how to react. He seems fine, as long as he's like, yeah, no. He's just like, I'm very open, whatever. I was like, cool. Dancey dance. I'm glad we'll work things out. Shifted his weight to his other foot. Baxter tries to move forward.
so
Which condo is yours? How long have you been living here together? Living together. Oh, no. Cove sputtered again. Unintentionally, a laugh escapes you.
that's
We are both your neighbors. We live in different houses with our parents. As if second nature, the two of you point to your homes, the buildings directly across the street from each other. Baxter's eyebrows raised at that. You are neighbors who started dating? What a couple of lovebirds. You're the backbone of romantic society. Honestly, I hope you never break up. If you can make it work, there might be a chance for the rest of us. You knew Cove well enough to tell there was a little bit of amusement in his expression. But he sighed in expiration. After that, you had no doubts about his claim of being complimentary. You were really starting to get a kick out of it. Well, if either of you are free, I'll be thrilled to hang out this summer, but we can save the schedule talk for later. I should get my things inside. He gave you a small nod of the head, flashed you both a dazzling smile.
Goodbye.
For today. Bye. Cove gave a small wave as well. Bye, Baxter. See you. Then Baxter turned on his heels and then strolled back to his suitcase, picking it up, bringing it to the condo. You and Cove were silent as Baxter unlocked the door and disappeared inside the house. With him completely out of the scene, Cove let out a long breath.
Well,
I don't know how I'm going to explain that guy to my dad. You burst into a fit of laughter trying to imagine the conversation. At least the job is done. We saw the new neighbor, now we can go meet up with Terry and Miranda. Yeah, we should get going. You gave Baxter's condo one last glance over your shoulder. You were looking forward to seeing him more of him. You thought he was charming. You were not interested in him, or you weren't sure how to feel. You gave him a pretty bad first expression. You decided that he wasn't someone you liked. He ain't it. Baxter was different, but you liked him. Smiling, and you were hoping that you would become good friends this summer. Turning your attention back to Cove, you pushed all the thoughts of Baxter aside. You both started to make your way towards town. I forget how long the epilogues and prologues are. You took his hand, or you took his arm, or you walked side by side. Take his hand. You slid your palm into his, and Cove laced his fingers with yours. His expression instantly became happier, the light squeeze of your hand. A little while later, you and Cove reached a main street in town. All of a sudden, you stopped walking. What's wrong? I think I felt my phone vibrate. You dug your cell phone out and looked at it with a satisfied grin. There was a new message. Before you could read it, you distracted by a small, amused noise from Cove. His head seemed slightly tilted to the side as he was carefully looking at your old keychain. I can't believe you still have that. Of course I do. I love it. You shouldn't be surprised. Well, someone was crazy enough to get it for me, so I might as well use it. You shrugged, or you quietly blushed at him pointing it out. Alright, you meant it. The intensity of your words had Cove blushing and looked away from you. For a moment, you were both at loss for words. You were sucked into remembering the day that he bought it for you. You and Cove was the one to spoke up again.
it's nice.
I actually glad that you liked it. He looked back at you with a playful grin. Especially since it cost me a whole $6, and that's like $30 in kid money. He matter-of-fact tone as you laughed deeply. It took several moments to compose yourself enough to speak. I didn't realize it was a going rate. It was then, probably be more now. So you're trying to say that you're a big spender? In kid money, yes. I was definitely a high roller, I remember. But the both of you burst into fits. Smiling, you refocused on the task at hand. You opened with a new form of text. You opened the opened the new text from Miranda, and all you saw was, "I can see you." Immediately from where you stood, you started swiveling your head around. You couldn't spot Miranda anywhere, but she did send you more messages. I saw you holding Cove's hand. Scandalous. Where are you? Haha, come on. ... Really, Randy? The message was sent, and you were back to looking around, scanning for any sign of movement, a familiar face. But they were still invisible, and Cove looked at you carefully, raising a brow. Miranda, come on out! You sighed at the ridiculousness. You burst into laughter at her antics. You sent your own joking text, or you grabbed onto Cove again, waiting for Miranda to show how scandalous you could be. At once, you hooked your arms around his neck, still holding your phone, and you brought him even closer to you. He blushed, giving you a look mixed with amusement and confusion. Serious, Sophia. What did that message even say? Before you can even begin explaining anything to Cove, you both snapped your attention to a yell from across the street. And there you saw Miranda and Terry coming out from behind the backside of a wall of the grocery store. They both started waving wildly to draw even more attention to themselves. Oh. With your friend's grand entrance made, Cove seemed to realize the joke, and he smiled with a sigh, and you let him go for a moment, chuckling. Cove took a step in their direction, grinning as he put his hands around his mouth to better project his message across the street. Hey! Sorry. Hey! I just did that to the mic. Laughing and arm in arm, the girls stopped, looked both ways, and then rushed across the empty street.
Hi.
Look how cute Miranda is now. Look at her. And then you guys get to see Terry for the first time. Hi. Hi. I hope you weren't waiting too long.
Hey, buddies.
Look at Terry. Hi. Hi. That joke was not funny. I'm amazed. How could you appear out of nowhere like that? Hey, happy to see you too. I thought you both knew better than to jaywalk. Wordlessly, you waved. Now that they were here, their joke on you seemed to be long forgotten in your mind. Terry and Miranda giggled, smiling widely at your declaration. Terry then closed the distance between her and Cove and crushed him into a painful, tight hug. You're finally here. It's been so long. What took you? He did his best to eek, ear, what the fuck, eke out a reply with his chest being compressed.
Sorry.
Eventually, she let go, Terry looking at him with a beaming smile, but Cove was distracted, rubbing his arms. Standing there, Miranda shifted her weight to the other hip. She smiled. She watched Cove patiently with a bashful smile. Welcome back. Thanks. It finally felt official. Everyone was together in one place. From here, you weren't sure how often you would have another afternoon like this again. They didn't either.
So?
Cove. Terry poked Cove square in the chest. You're gonna have to give me your schedule by this time yesterday.
No way.
Not really possible, Terry. But I can as soon as I know. So far, work hasn't said anything, and I can tell you I'm busy with Orca's activity. When Cove wasn't at his part-time job or pursuing his academic interest, he volunteered for the Ocean Restoration California affiliation, Orca. The group focused on cleaning up beaches and removing pollution from the ocean. Cove was always loved the sea, and it didn't surprise you one bit when he started to get involved with them. It was Cove's activity you joined Orca to after learning about it. You were an Orca member and introduced Cove into. Nope. Their big smash event for the year is coming up, right? Isn't it? Yeah. There's not much more to do before then. I'm kind of looking forward to the fundraiser push. Hopefully we can pull it off. If anyone can do it, it's you two. Even if it goes really badly, it still looks good on a college application at least. That's true. Hey, guess what else? We don't have to stand here to say stuff. Let's go. I would like a meal now. Perked up, Cove nodded in agreement. Yeah, for sure. The four of you head into town, happily chatting the whole way. The only decision left was to where exactly to stop and eat. The rest of the afternoon and evening passed in a blink of an eye. When night fell, it was time to head home. You parted ways with Miranda and Terry. You and Cove reached your neighborhood without an event. It was late enough that your out-of-the-way street was dark and silent. You were walking tiredly after a long day. You strolled with a skip in your step. You ambled along, or Cove was giving you a piggyback ride home. This poor boy. It was a long day out and about, and you appreciate that you could rely on him to make things more comfortable for you. You untighten your grip on Cove, but turning your head ever so slightly to peer at his face out of the corner of your eye. You wondered why he felt so distant to you. It was out of character. For a while, Cove stared silently ahead, and he left you alone. It's gonna be out come the marriage DLC. Nah, that's why he's gonna be very buff. He's gotta practice to carry me. Stretch. a while, Cove silently stared ahead and left you alone with your own thoughts. It's surprising that you did hear his voice all of a sudden. He still wouldn't look at you. It feels weird coming back to the neighborhood trying to get into things like they're the same. And they're not. They've changed. And they're still changing. Your mouth felt uncomfortably dry all of a sudden. It was true. The things that kept the people you knew together were starting to disappear. Each person had to make their own priorities and their own path now. And that wasn't set for them. You thought about your own immediate future. And you were still set on that for yourself. You wanted... Oh, fuck. It's this part. I spent the most time just on this stupid part because I was just like, oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Just do college. Work part-time. Oh, well, I didn't even read all of that. To go to school full-time, to go to school part-time, to work full-time, to work part-time, to focus on time that's not school or work. So I said go to school full-time. I guess work part-time. I don't know. That was basics. For your career, you thought of finding a company to work at, work online, do contract work, start your own business. Work online? I don't know. That's all. For your education, you thought attend a community college, attend a public university, go to a private college, join a trade, take online classes. That was all. And for that's what you wanted to do, stay local, go to a different part of the state, go out of state, go abroad, travel around to different places, stay local. It all happened to be so soon. Whoa. You had already applied to school and jobs. You had already applied to school. You had already applied to jobs. You started to prepare for what was coming, or you hadn't begun to do anything yet. Jobs. You've been open about your situation and everyone knew. You only spoke about this with family and those you were close to, like Cove. You kept this all to yourself, and Cove was the only person you knew. Now you wondered what Cove had in mind. You heard him consider some things for his future, but it never anything that would have counted as a real plan. Cove stopped in Middle Street. He sighed, putting you down. You were both outside of your houses. Cove looked at the ground for a moment. His mouth trembled, trying to settle on the right words to say. So, you planning on working stuff in Sunset Bird? Yeah. Cove closed his eyes and nodded while he was composing his thoughts. He looked at you when he lifted his head. I decided on something, well, kind of. He smiled slightly, rubbing his arm, and then his expression grew more serious. I'm not going to decide on a school or a career. Not this summer. I'm going to stay here, at least in Sunset Bird. I'll probably move out of my dad's place. I like to keep working my job. I'll keep doing volunteer work stuff and everything else.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll know what I want for myself by fall or the next year. Or maybe I'll never have a plan. Life will continue on. Whatever happens, happens. This is me. At this point, I was like giving up and I was like, hey, I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want. What happens, what happens. Haha. I'm not gonna crush myself trying to figure out everything by a timeline that someone else has set. I can't do that. His brow furrowed and his tone was tense. It was clear how much expectations that were weighing on him.
I guess.
It will be me and you, right here for a while longer. His eyes were glossy and you weren't going to be separated, and that meant a very great deal to him. Your plans sound very you, and I just totally spit on my monitor. You nodded understanding. You were glad the two of you would be in Sunset Bird together. Somehow, I'm not surprised things turned out like this, or you weren't sure how to react. Elevated, you smiled. Cove looked relieved that you were happy with his turn of events. I will see you tomorrow, Sophia. I'll see you. Night. He pulls you into an unexpected hug. It knocked the breath out of you, yet you couldn't have been more reassured feeling. And you returned his embrace and stayed that way for as long as you could.
Good night.
He finally let go, giving you another smile. Then Cove started walking away, but you remained there, frozen in the middle of the street. You watched him and wondered, how many more times will he be able to say that you will see him tomorrow? You hoped for countless more times. But finally you turned to your own house, and you vowed to yourself that you would make the most out of every moment you had this summer. Okay. Well, we finally finished the prologue. So these are the stories we have. We have Hang, Reflection, Aaron, Late Shift, Talk, Serendipity, Charity, Boating, Thrive, and Happiness. Well, this... I think I'm actually going to call it here for my comeback, or just coming back to streaming. Save. And then the next day or so, I think I will try to get through maybe 5. It kind of depends on how long these are and how much I talk. But yeah, thanks for all coming here while I streamed, because I think drink water. I am drinking water. Menu. But we'll see if this thing... Bye! Let's see if I can raid. Water. Kalo, Caro, if you see anyone that can possibly raid, please do put it, because my computer's being a butt. Yay! And no one's on for me, so lovely. And I'm the only one playing this game. Great. Just Spanish speakers. Huh. Because I was gonna, like, maybe do someone who was playing this game, but... Yeah, I got no one. Well, if anything, we always can just end it. Which I think I'll probably do, unless someone has a suggestion. But thank you all for coming out, enjoying my shitty reading, and Caro trying to murder some 18-year-old boys. Hope you all have a nice day, night. Just steal the outro to Daro from Daro. Don't be an asshole. Alright. Have a good night, everyone.